What's going on, ladies and gentlemen? Crypto everyone in the house, dropping you guys the latest and greatest cryptocurrency news and updates. Today is Thirsty Thursdays, November 10th, 2022, and I'm live. I have not gone live in over a month or so, I think. And I haven't done a Thirsty Thursdays in a while, but it should be a great stream, hopefully. We got some super smart, intelligent people who are familiar faces on this channel. We're going to talk about, this past crazy week in crypto that we've had, the FTX debacle, stuff that's just happening within the last couple of hours with FTX, kind of how that is going to play with Voyager. Not too much to talk about that. And then Kavarii, I tried to go on and stream live on that platform, but I tried yesterday. I really had some issues with like signing transactions and it failing. And then just recently before I started the stream, I was trying to talk with Vanessa, but I don't think anyone's actually gone live yet, but there's a lot of kinks and bugs because it is in the beta format right now. So yeah, hopefully one day we'll get there, but that's their new decentralized NFT video streaming platform, which I've been uploading to, and I'm really excited about it. So, it is in beta, but there's a lot of kinks to work out, but we'll talk about that more towards the end of the live stream. So again, guys, glad you guys could all be here on a Thirsty Thursday night. Let's see if you guys are drinking tonight. Let me know what you're drinking. I have where I used to live in Florida. You guys probably heard of the Florida Man. This Florida Man double IPA. It's a pretty good drink. But yeah, I miss Florida. I lived there for about like 3 years or so, and now I'm in Jersey, unfortunately. But that's a whole nother conversation. But yeah, who do we got in the comments? We got Antonio Busta. How's it going, man? We got Ron Fisker. How's it going? We got Obi. Oh, Obi joined. I just saw you down below, so we'll bring you guys in here. And we have the Stream Elements bot. I don't know what that is. I know I tried to use Stream Elements and not StreamYard because they charge you like $50 a month, which is insane to go live on StreamYard to just use 1080p, which I don't think it's worth it because still the quality isn't there. But I paid $50, so I get it for a month. But I'm still trying to mess around with Stream Elements at some point, but I don't know why they have the bot running in the background. At least you have decent food. Yeah, I mean, it's okay. I used to live in Jersey, and then I moved to Florida for a couple years, and then I moved back to the same area, and I just feel like the food tastes differently. It's weird. I don't know if I just got used to some of the food in Florida, but, lots of Italian food here in Jersey. But there's just a couple decent places around me. Antonio's drinking the high life. Nothing fancy. Nothing wrong with that, man. Nothing wrong with that. All right, so let's bring in our two guests, which we might have a couple other pop in maybe a little bit towards the end of the night. I did send a bunch of DMs to you guys, especially in our crypto chatter group on Signal. I sent some DMs to you guys on Twitter, so check your DMs. And if you guys are watching and you want to tune in, feel free to just, I don't know, maybe just send it in the chat or DM whoever. I don't have any moderators tonight. I was going to have Kit Baroness join, but I think she's working late. She might pop in later, so she might come in to just provide a little bit of insight. She was going to talk about kind of like the historical macro perspective of everything that's going on nowadays compared to like the Great Depression and the crash that we had in 2008, 2009, and kind of how it's relating to what we're seeing nowadays since we're in a recession and everything. So it would be kind of cool to hear her perspective, but I'm sure Vanessa and Obi have some great insight as well. So without further ado, let's bring our first guest on. We have a former person who's been on my channel before. I interviewed her back in the day when she used to work for Permission. And now here she is today. How's it going?
Hey, everyone. It's great to be here. Great to be on the show. Looking forward to kind of an in-depth conversation on all the explosions that have happened.
I know. It's been a rough week. It's been absolutely crazy. So definitely glad you could come on tonight. All right, and then also another former face who's usually on my channel. We have Obi Joins.
Hey, what's going on? Hey, Vanessa. Hey, I got some Lakewood Peanut Butter Stout Temptress Imperial Milk Stout beer. So here's some ASMR for you. There you go.
Nice. What's that one that you always talk about that I want to try? It's another like 9-10% strong one. I still want to try that one.
Oh, that would have been the Belgian triple, the Golden Monk or Golden Monkey, I think it was.
Oh, yeah. Nice. That's awesome. But yeah, glad you guys could be on. It's been an absolutely crazy week. And me personally, I started a job recently the last month and a half since, my funds are locked on Voyager and whatnot, unfortunately. You know, you got to do what you got to do, but not without doxing what I'm doing right now. But I'm like in a logistics startup company right now. We're launching this brand new warehouse, brand new equipment, everything. So they're kind of having all the managers just pretty much work every single day, and we only get like one day off. So this week I got Thursday off. So I actually got to enjoy myself today. But we are getting our operation down and everything's being pretty smooth right now. So hoping next week we get at least 2 days off. And then starting after the peak season, we go to our normal schedule, which is kind of like a front half, back half, Wednesday to Saturday and a Sunday to Wednesday, where, you know, I'll get 3 days off, 4 days on, 10-hour days. So that's kind of why I haven't been as active as I used to be, you know, in the past. But just this past week, I've uploaded a couple videos with the whole FTX thing going on. It's just, while I'm at work, I'm like, oh my God, I can't believe all the craziness that's been going on. I actually I think I made 3 videos back to back about get your money off FTX, get your money off FTX.us. And, you know, we hate saying not financial advice, but you all know the past with everything that's happened. It's just, you can't trust anything. You can't trust centralized exchanges anymore. So that day I had a couple $100 on FTX.us, just Bitcoin, because they had that 8% yield that you could earn. But as soon as I heard that, I transferred it right off to the Meyer app, because, you know, they have the Bitcoin on there. So that's kind of where I was at.
Love that Meyer app.
I know. And Elrond, we're going to talk about that, the Kavarii, all that, because you guys are deep into those ecosystems. I love that. That's one of my top 3 or 4 that I'm only in right now, at least in the altcoins. But yeah, it's been a crazy week with everything that's going on. So I kind of want to just get started with a market overview, kind of just see macroeconomics and how the markets have been reacting this past week. Just kind of normally what I do. And then I do have certain couple topics throughout that we can just kind of expand on. So let me just move this tab over here, pull up the screen. So obviously the markets have recovered today. We had the CPI numbers come out and inflation was a little bit better. It's still pretty much garbage, but the markets reacted pretty positive, and we did see a pretty green day, especially in the S&P 500. I think it was like the best day since 2020, middle of 2021 or something crazy like that. But at least for the crypto markets, we're up 6.62%. We got Bitcoin at just over 17,000 right now. ETH did pretty well today, up about 11.23%, 1,247. XRP still chugging along. I haven't been following their lawsuit and everything, but it maybe sounds like they're winning. Are you guys following the XRP case? Are you guys into XRP? I'm not in it at all.
I think that they're kind of at the point where they've rested, and I think they're just dragging that one out as long as humanly possible.
Yeah. Cardano, one of my other favorites, up 11%. That's good. 36 cents. Dogecoin, wow, up 17%. The only time Doge is ever up is usually if Elon talks about it, and with the Twitter thing, and maybe Dogecoin being the native, coin of Twitter. That's just the rumored speculations going on. I think that's the only reason why it might be pumping, as well as because Bitcoin and CPI numbers came out. Polygon, though, look at that, 32%. What a pump that is. I know they have a lot of stuff going on right now, so that's looking pretty good right now. Solana, the other thing that's potentially tied to FTX, that's pumping right now, 26.81% up, sitting at $16.71. But we can talk about that a little later and how it's tied with FTX. Let's see. We only got a couple hours left in November 10th, and depending where you guys are in the world, I know we have some Australia and people over in Europe that usually watch my channel. But holidays for today, we got International Counting Day, a big one right here, as I'm a fellow veteran. But it's the Marine Corps' birthday, and I know we have some people in our community. We got Ryoshi's a former Marine. We got Aldo, if he's watching. I know he's overseas right now for business, but shout out to all the Marine Corps veterans out there, and a shout out to the Marine Corps' birthday. National Vanilla Cupcake Day. That looks good. Sesame Street Day. Area Code Day. It's always funny. I do these every day, and there's so many ridiculous days that I see on here. Like Obi, I think you commented the other day.
Yeah.
The national, was it geriatric or like Tooth Fairy Geriatric
Tooth Fairy Day.
Yeah. Like, who comes up with these things? It's just crazy. Some of the days, like national days. Like, what's the process where I can go through to create a national day? I've always wondered that.
You got to have a Twitter blue check now. Anyone who's got that can create a day.
Pretty much.
Not hard to get.
Well, I saw you, Vanessa. You had that. So is the $8 thing? Is it in play? Like you can do it, or did you? I was confused when you messaged me about that. Is it? Is it on right now?
I earned it with all my esteem and all the great influence that I have over Twitter, and $7.99 a month. Yeah, you just have to go. You just need the iOS app. If you have Android, I think it doesn't work.
Gotcha. But yeah, going along with that, people were giving a lot of feedback on that. Oh, if everyone gets the same thing, there was someone that did like a George W. Bush account with the check, but he changed the actual handle. So they're like, oh, if anything, it's going to be funny for everyone because they're going to be verified, but there's going to be a bunch of meme accounts. But then someone said, hey, why don't you just come up with different colored check marks? You know what I mean? So you could be verified and be legit with like a gray colored check mark. But hey, maybe if you're a quote unquote public figure and influencer, you'll get a different colored check mark.
I've noticed that there's some that the legacy check marks are like grayed out, but they're still a check. Have you noticed that?
No.
Maybe it's just my phone. I don't know. It's like a gray check.
We'll have to check that one out. What else do we have today? Are you guys wine drinkers? I'm not. Tempranillo Day. I have no idea what Tempranillo wine is. You guys wine snobs?
I mean, I don't drink cheap wine, but if it's red and it's in front of me, I'll drink it.
Nice. But that's all you guys have, or that's what we have for the holidays for today. Crypto bubbles for the visual people. Sea green, not surprised, in the top 100. Jumping into my favorites. Matic, like I said, up 21.4%. Pretty much everything is green, so that's at least good to see. But I mean, I'm not surprised after the big dump that we had yesterday. Total crypto market cap, we're looking at about 820 billion, at least on the daily right now. Let's take a look at a shorter time span. I think, yeah, obviously the last couple of hours, this past day, we've been green, so I'm not too surprised. We are far away from the Ichimoku cloud, so I wouldn't be surprised if we keep heading up a little bit. And also, we did have a lunar eclipse earlier this week, so if you guys watch my previous videos and if you guys are into that, it's kind of interesting that we're kind of on that last lunar eclipse during the seasons that we've had. And looking back, there's a Twitter post that I talked about that there's different types of lunar eclipses that happen all throughout the the year, but the one that we're on now could potentially be the bottom that we're looking for, because it kind of called the bottoms pretty much with the last bull runs that we've had in Bitcoin's history. So I kind of thought that was pretty interesting to relate to. So maybe that's another thing why the market's pumping, but you can always take that with a grain of salt. In market cap for CoinGecko, it's always a little bit higher. I don't know where they pull their data.
So CoinGecko, they do something different than CoinMarketCap in terms of aggregating coin price on chain. So they're taking more of the averages, kind of weeding out some of the crap. And so I trust the CoinMarketCap, CoinGecko better than the CoinMarketCap.
Gotcha.
Just in how they put the data together.
Yeah. Moving on real quick, we got the DXY. You guys follow me. I mentioned this in every single one of my videos, and it's pretty interesting to follow because whenever the DXY is up, traditional markets and the stock markets are down and vice versa. This tweet from Chris Vincentini. So I guess the DXY has been falling pretty much the last couple of days, and it's fallen below the 100-day moving average, the blue line here, and we haven't seen that since July 2021. Will this be interesting to follow this? If this continues, it's very positive for equities and crypto. Is the long-term channel broken? So taking a look at some of the technical analysis of DXY, we've obviously been in a parabolic run since around, about May 2021, straight parabolic move. But we kind of peaked out here, and I have an Elliott wave theory drawn right here, the 1, 2, 3, 5, 2, 3, 4, 5. 114 was about the highest. I think 115-ish is what we saw, but could potentially be at the end of that parabolic run heading into that ABC corrective wave pattern. And this is something I've kind of messed with because we've kind of had these fake outs where, hey, we've been going up and down. So this is just another thing that we've had, at least on the daily, we've been in a downtrend. So I'm not surprised that's why we saw the traditional markets and crypto markets to the upside. Obi, what do you think about that with the DXY and the TA?
Looks pretty technically sound.
Yeah. And historically, 105 and 110 has been a good support and resistance for the DXY's history. So we broke through that support right there. And I mean, I don't know, we're kind of like maybe be in a free fall. So I wouldn't be surprised if at
But-
least we kept continuing to the downside. I put my A corrective wave here on the 105 just because, that historical support line.
Yeah, I think you said it there. Money printer go burr May 21, and then big parabola move,
Yeah.
and then now you're starting to see, it went up that fast because the other fiat currencies were being printed even faster than our own, and the dollar's held up strength relative to them, particularly Japan and the European Central Bank have been pretty reckless. So. Now they're kind of raising rates while they're still printing in some instances, but it does feel like the tightening's kind of coming off the gas here. The reason the markets did so well today was because, inflation still sucks, like you said, 7.7, but it beat expectations. So people get excited when things beat expectations because Wall Street's always trying to get ahead of the Fed so that they get the maximum returns on when the Fed U-turns. But I watched that dollar index every day. I think you're right. Breaking that resistance and coming down,
especially through the cloud right here. We haven't broken through the Ichimoku cloud on the DXY.
Yeah,
since the whole run up. It looks like we kind of went into a little bit, but this is the first time, at least now that I'm looking at it, because I just now noticed that we've broken it, at least on the daily. I zoom in here. Yeah. So that's big.
And bonds came down today too. And the expectations for the next raise, have softened towards 50 basis points hike. And there's been some softening talk, from some of the Fed chairs. So, the market's kind of responding accordingly. I still in the camp, where I still think they look at a lot of lagging indicators, and we're looking 6 to 9 months out probably before, some of the layoffs and the downturn in supply chain things kind of start to catch up. I noticed that Stone Cold put up there a note earlier today about the federal judge striking down the student loan forgiveness. So that's good in terms of adding to our national debt and liabilities, but bad in terms of free cash flow for to have towards investments.
Definitely. All right, moving on. We got Bitcoin dominance. Looks like it's been kind of going sideways, at least on the daily, but we're looking at about a 40.13% for Bitcoin dominance. Fear and greed index. I talk about this in every single one of my videos, and I know Obi, you like to trade on the fear and greed index, but we're still in extreme fear. We've only gone up a couple points today from yesterday, but be fearful when others are greedy, and greedy when others are fearful. I just like kind of keeping an eye on this right now, but man, we've been in that fear and extreme fear since, I don't know pretty much the middle, actually last year, since about a year, we've been in a downtrend essentially. So I always like to look at this kind of thing. And a lot of people don't really know what is measured on the fear and greed, but it takes a bunch of different data sources. And it's on a different type of scale. So volatility is 25%, market momentum 25%, social media, surveys, I guess, which is paused, and Bitcoin dominance, and then trends from Google Trends. So that's kind of how they come up with these Bitcoin fear and greed index numbers, just FYI. But Obi, you said you like to trade on this, right?
Yeah, it's a barometer, which when your compass is pointing to the left, that's my buy signal. And when the compass points the other direction, that's when I start stacking fiat, get those Fed coupons. So I have purchasing power for when I could start deploying the capital that's saved up. When in times like this, I'm absolutely loving the red days, and Bitcoin in the teens is just, I've been waiting for 16,280 for months now, and we dipped below it. And
did you buy any? You said it looks like we dipped to 15.6, or at least wicked down to it on the 4 hour.
I bought that whole candle from 18.5 all the way down to 15 whatever.
Nice.
But it got to a point where Strike and Swan were having some issues with their custodial or market maker provider, and so some of the spreads shot up to rates I've never seen before. The spreads on Strike and Swan have issues, and for that particular candle, it was so volatile that I ended up paying pretty hefty spreads. But I was just like, I don't care. I don't want to.
Yeah, in the long run, it's worth it. Yeah.
No, because if you want something in good times, you want it more on sale. And if you have a low time preference like I do, like this to me is a way to convert the oppression that is, government run Looney Tunes money into something that's concrete, real and mathematical. So it's the hedge against government irresponsibility. So when I have an opportunity to increase a bag, to, you know, have that life insurance policy against government, totally taking advantage.
For sure. All right. So you guys probably see a bunch of lines on here. And if you guys do follow me, you know what all these lines mean. And this is just some of the big trend lines throughout Bitcoin's history that I'm looking at as a decent support and resistance. So zoom in way out, you can see this trend line that we have right here. This is the bottom that we had back in 2018 for Bitcoin. And this has been a pretty good support line for Bitcoin. And you can see we're about, I think we might still be below it right now. So yeah, this is not good that we're below it, but again, this is one of the trend lines that I've been looking at. So we're still below that line. And then also we have this line from the middle of 2021 in November of last year. This has been in kind of a good support and resistance trend line. So I've had kind of these intersect right here. And I mean, it's not close, but it's kind of, we're almost using this as a resistance right now. So if we can get above this 17,976, 18,000, hopefully this will cause us to have another like support right now. But then again, I'm looking at this other trend line as a resistance. But then if we can break through that, hopefully Bitcoin starts making a move back up towards the upside. So these big trend lines that I'm looking at from these two key areas, the top and the bear market low down in 2018. But we're in a crazy time, you guys can see right here. And then again, we have the red horizontal line right here. This is also the top of 2017. So lots of strong resistances and a crazy key time for Bitcoin right now.
I mean, given the favorable CPI numbers today in terms of, you know, expectations and looking at what, you know, what you're looking at there, I think that overextension was due to the FTX issue and some of the other people that are just looking for liquidity and looking to kind of fill orders. So they're dumping some Bitcoin. I read some miner profitability reports and reports for October, and a lot of the Bitcoin miners haven't been selling, and they had pretty good months in September and October as temperatures are coming down and machines are running more efficiently. The reports were all really good from the miners. Some have switched off for energy savings, but I really feel there's some good momentum there.
It's crazy how like all the timing, because I follow Marin Altman. She's that one big astrological Bitcoin. She's called the presidential election. She's made a lot of crazy calls. And she said with this lunar eclipse happening, you might see a big financial institution or something crazy happen. It just so happened FTX. It's just crazy how everything aligns. You know what I mean? And then with the CPI, like this whole week has just been absolutely crazy. So
yeah, well, if we talk about Marin, the next date she's given is the 20th of December. So something's going to happen. Maybe.
That's the Santa Claus rally, right?
Did she say like what it was, or just she just threw that date out there?
She just put the date out. I think she does the like put the date out and pin it thing.
Okay. Yeah, I like following her. It's just interesting type of thing. Yeah, stock markets today. Obviously, what was it? The S&P biggest one-day rally since 2020. So that's good to see that the traditional markets are at least coming back. And let's see, take a look at futures right now. Futures are looking pretty good as well for tomorrow. Obviously, again, the CPI numbers for October came in at 7.7%. Consensus was 8%. And then last September was 8.2%, or this previous September. So you can see at least we've been coming down slowly but surely. This month, I'll be curious to see how everything's going to go. I have no idea. What do you guys think about the inflation? Where you guys are at? Like, are you guys in your area starting to see everything come down a little bit? I don't know. I still feel like prices, at least at the supermarkets, are coming down. Gas prices were coming down. They're up a little bit right now. Used car prices, I think they announced was down about 3.4%, something like that in October. I hear those are starting to come down. But I don't know. What do you guys think about inflation?
It sucks. It's still 7.7%, but man, I don't know. I don't think we should expect it to get close to what reality is, which is more in the 5% range. I think we've averaged 4% since leaving the gold standard in 1971. So I know the Fed has a target of 2%, but they'd be wise just to raise that because they'd never hit that on a consistent basis. So once we start getting into the 5 range, I'll start to feel a little bit better about inflation. But it is, you know, a little heavily skewed towards rents right now, and mortgages kind of driving that up. Food at home's a little high. You know, consumer electronics and clothes and smartphones are down, and probably will have some pretty good sales this Christmas season. I know I've been stocking up on my switch from Android to Apple, so that's been kind of fun. But I still think we have a ways to go. The supply chain issue hasn't resolved itself. People are still ordering. The layoffs are just now starting to happen. I think as that starts to ramp up a little bit more and the credit card rates continue to climb, you'll start to see that softening in demand, and then inflation will get in those, you know, lower single digits.
Yeah, I was trying to pull up something with commodities.
I found quite interesting is if you look at the Trueflation chart, we're actually pretty close to it now. Whereas before, when they were quoting CPI, it was a big delta between Trueflation and where we are now.
Where is Trueflation right now? It was 11.7. Did it fall?
Yeah, on the site now that they're showing 7.36. Yeah, there we go.
7.36. Oh, wow.
Interesting. I trust this number a lot more, by the way.
So for the people that don't know what this means, can you guys talk about what trueflation is compared to regular inflation? I know there's probably some people that don't know what that means.
Yeah, so I like to think of it more as less cherry-picked version of the consumer price index. It's measuring kind of on this. I think it more or less aligns to how we measured inflation in the 1980s, more so than what we're measuring now. The housing is one of the biggest things that gets manipulated in the regular consumer price index, because they do like owner's equivalent rent, which is like landlords kind of guessing if they're going to raise rates or how they feel the prices have gone. And this is more about getting market data and showing a truer number. So there's other differences I can't remember off the top of my head, but that's kind of my high-level overview of the difference.
Another big one is that they're done sort of real time, so you can see it moment to moment, whereas the CPI I think is backward looking, so you get a little bit of that delta.
That's good to know.
Did I summarize the rest of it right there, Vanessa? Or
I'm definitely not an expert on this.
Yeah.
I just know that this seems to be more accurate to my experience. Still seems low compared to prices that I've been seeing, but you know, I'm not buying a house every day.
Utilities are on a rise.
I am concerned though, going into the winter. And I know that the natural gas is down and electricity is kind of stable, but you know, usually, you know, with what's going on in Europe, how much, you know, we're running into some, even here in the United States in the Northeast, some diesel shortages. People are trying to stock up. They're worried about heating. People in Europe are obviously concerned, you know, finding lumber, fuel, natural gas, the whole gamut. So it'll be interesting to see how that shifts towards energy as we get through the colder months in the year here ahead.
Definitely. All right, let's see. I think we got the first topic of discussion, or at least one of the topics that we want to talk about, is that big FTX fiasco. Not to kind of just jump tables what we're talking about, but I found this, said, you really trusted people that look like this? And not to judge people, you know, not that I'm like the greatest looking person or whatever, but I don't know. I thought this was kind of funny because it's like
I have to say that
SBF looks a little creepy. I'm not gonna lie.
The refutation to that is the absolutely amazing headshot that keeps floating around for Do Kwon. Whatever he did, like, he's got the most flattering headshot of any, you know, crypto bad guy anywhere.
Yeah. Except you see him now and he's a little puffy and bags under the eyes and like, oh, I haven't slept in months. Kind of look to him, you know.
Being on the run from
you see,
Interpol,
like, you look at Sam and you just look at videos and you know things were wrong. You just look at the physical health of some of these guys. You get the stress is on their face, you know.
Except CZ, have you seen CZ? I guess he's in pretty good shape. There was a photo of him in SBF that I saw, and he commented, "Where like, man, that's when I used to be fat or something." But like, I think now he's at least looks like he's in pretty decent shape.
Yeah. You see the Bitcoin maxis, you know, focusing on their physique and their physical health as well as their financial health, and then you see the shitcoiners, you know, looking like they're stressed out Ponzi traders. I wonder why.
Yeah. This just happened, I guess, an hour or two ago, and this is kind of weird when I read it. I literally pulled this up right before I started the live stream. And shout out to Digital Asset News. He was on my channel. I interviewed him when I had like 500 subs. Blows my mind. But he said, remember when 3 Arrows Capital went down and some people thought it would only affect 3 Arrows Capital? Well, we should have learned when that everything is connected and then connections cause chain reactions. Let's see how many dominoes fall. He's exactly right. So Coin Bureau, I guess, did a tweet, and there goes BlockFi. So I don't know if this is straight from BlockFi, but they said, we are shocked and dismayed by the news regarding FTX and Alameda. We, like the rest of the world, found out about the situation through Twitter. What? I just read that first sentence. I just stopped. I was like, didn't FTX kind of like, didn't they buy out BlockFi during all the craziness that was going on or whatever?
They put an offer in. Supposedly BlockFi had money. I bet they're on a bank run and don't have the liquidity. And this is probably what the rest of this reads.
So they just found out through Twitter. I don't know. I think that's kind of funny.
Yeah.
Party's been all same stuff that all the same other companies that went under said. Huh.
I mean, does this surprise anybody?
No.
A centralized yield platform that specializes in lending is all of a sudden short on liquidity. What? Like nobody wants to hedge their Bitcoin for loans in a bear market. You know, I was getting phone calls and emails of BlockFi like daily, literally daily. I had to tell them, stop, take me off all your communications. Because I mean, they want the Bitcoin. They were out, you know. And one of the only lending platforms that I think is left is what, Nexus or Nexo. I've been hearing a couple things about them. They're like they did an attestation, which is not transparency. It's a here's our napkin math and how we're still good.
I mean, it's almost a joke at this point. Like 2 days before going bankrupt, the CEO comes out and says, "We're fine. We've got the assets to cover everything." That's almost a guaranteed sign that things are going to go south.
Exactly.
You know what it is? It's the struggling sports franchise, and to try to kickstart you can't fire all the players. So the general manager comes out and gives the team a vote of confidence. The coaching staff is, oh, they're doing a great job. You know, we stand behind our coaches. They'll turn this around. And then like 2 days later, the coaching staff's fired. It's like that.
Yeah. And then you start seeing all the centralized exchanges come out and talk about their reserves or whatever. So like Binance came out because, you know, a lot of these aren't publicly traded or whatever. And Binance is like, oh yeah, we've got this much Bitcoin, this much. And then all the other exchanges were like, give us about a month. Does it really take a month for them to pull that data? You know what I mean? Like, don't you just have your accountant? So that it just it seems like they're trying to do something behind the scenes and cover their asses with showing that, you know, that we have the reserves. So something like what happened to FTX and everyone else doesn't happen again. Right.
Well, when you have a bunch of things on your balance sheet that you claim are assets when they're really liabilities because everybody's assets, somebody else's liability. If it's on a centralized platform, it's being rehypothecated in some way. So if they say they need time, it means they've lent it out and they're trying to recall or margin call or get those funds back, right? Because they've already lent it out somewhere else. So they can't give you back what you believe is your asset that they're holding, which again, if not your keys, not your coins, you put something on a centralized platform, they own it, right? So if they've lent it out or lent half of it out and you come knocking saying, hey, I'd like to close my loan and give me back that Bitcoin, and like, oh, we only got half of it, then they're going to have to go and say, give us some time. And then, or they'll fill orders up until the point they can't. And then they'll have to pause things like you're seeing now.
Yeah. So what Binance claims they have 69 billion in reserves, but each asset deserves valuation allowance, especially BNB. Huh.
I mean, I think something to consider, right, is we think all these guys are doing real bad things, and they are, but it's exactly the same thing that the banks are doing. Mm-hmm. The only difference is, the banks have a government that'll step in and help them out. And so it's you don't get bank runs as common these days.
And that's why I think a lot of them
they can shut it off. They can shut the doors in traditional finance legally. And then they can say they can borrow from the central bank, and then everything's hunky-dory, right? Here's your money. We're not evil. Meanwhile, they're going to charge you for it, right? Or they'll be in trouble. But that is the traditional system. they have the money printer, they have the Cantillon effect, so they can afford to protect you in the same way that the mafia protects you, right?
Yeah. So moving forward, one of the biggest things, at least for the next bull run, or just people don't want have to do anything with centralized exchanges. We all want to be a part of we want to have a decentralized wallet. We want to have our hardware wallets. We want to have our non-custodial wallets. That's me personally. I think after all of these cases that's happened, that's what we want to move to. So for the next bull run that we have in the near future or in the next couple of years, you're starting to see all these other platforms come out and say that they're non-custodial exchanges like Ethos, the new Ethos that they're trying to like market that as they're decentralized, but they don't really hold your keys. I think we had this conversation in our Signal group, but they still control a part of your seed phrase or something like that. So do you think we're going to start seeing, not your keys, not your crypto, but then these other exchange, quote unquote, decentralized exchanges kind of pop up?
Yeah, I think they're clearing the way for folks like Fidelity and Vanguard. Honestly, I think normal folks are not going to hold actual Bitcoin. It's all going to be in prime trust in an ETF from Fidelity. I think maybe us folks, we might value that custody of our keys, but I really wonder about Coinbase and Kraken and some of the other places where there's a level of expertise to get into that, but they're still centralized. And I don't know. I think it's going to be either like full retail on Fidelity or, crypto native self-custody.
Yeah. And then you think about, our parents or just the older generation. I mean, it just depends, the simplicity aspect of it. You don't think like, hey, my mom or our grandparents are going to, hey, write your 16, word seed phrase down and make sure you etch it down in a metal thing, put it in a safe. It's going to be a lot more simpler, I think, in the future, kind of like what you were talking about.
You're right, and you're both right. There's going to be some people that value self-custody that are going to be comfortable taking the time to learn and use a DEX, and some people are going to value their privacy more than others. And then there's a lot of other people that will just view it as an investment, and they'll go with a trust or an ETF or some traditional investment that they deem to be safe with someone trusted like a Fidelity, like Vanessa said. And then what we're starting right now is the consolidation of centralization. There's just so many there's over 250 plus centralized exchanges in crypto, and there's not enough liquidity to go around for all of them. And even a player as big as FTX is not free from a bank run. And honestly, if it's shown that they actually are short on funds, then that's potentially a fraudulent jailable offense, because they were an exchange, they weren't a brokerage, they weren't a bank, and they're supposed to have the assets on platform, the proof of reserves. So the centralized exchanges that are going to make it are going to have to have more transparency, the proof of reserve thing that CZ's talking about. And you will see the runway being cleared. Schwab, Citadel, Fidelity, I think Morgan Stanley are all in on EDMX, which is an exchange that they're trying to set up for crypto. So you're going to have those deep pockets. And once like the Lummis-Gillibrand bill or some kind of modification of it ends up going through, and regulators have their sandbox that they have to kind of tell people what sandboxes they can play in, it'll clear the path for those deep pockets to take market share and advertise and say, hey, we're behind this thing. Your funds are safe. We have a reserve. Come here. And they'll have incentives just like they do in the traditional finance world to try to get people in. But, again, it doesn't matter if they're regulated or trusted. Not your keys, not your coins. Same thing with your bank down the street. You put dollars from your paycheck into the bank, not your dollars anymore. The bank's dollars. You have a claim against the dollars, and there's federal protection in the form of FDIC where they'll reimburse or guarantee a portion of it after you go through the whole, we'll sell your account to this other bank, and if that defaults through, then we'll reimburse you your money. But that's what FDIC is. But people, you kind of have the choice. All money carries risks, whether you're walking down the street with cash in your pocket and subject to a mugging, or putting cash underneath your mattress or in a safe and your house burns down, or putting money in a bank, which is a counterparty you're entrusting that your cash to. Even if you have the cash not invested in any other form and you're just storing cash, well, your cash is eroding through inflation, and you have a risk of losing the money in different scenarios. So what do you do if once you have wealth and you have cash? You have to be smart in terms of distributing that cash, so that if one of those counterparties or one of those scenarios comes to reality, you have backup plans and it's not going to completely wreck your net worth. So that's where the term diversification comes from, right? You're spreading out your wealth, and it's smart to do that across different asset classes, cash, metals, art, real estate, crypto, etc. So it's not financial advice. It's just good sound, anything you read online or
Well, I love the other thing that's kind of embedded in there, Obi. It's almost you're saying diversify among custody types as well. So don't keep everything under your mattress, but also don't keep everything in the bank. And I think that's interesting. It just kind of reduces the risk of a single point of failure.
Yes. And that's one of the things that I've learned the last bull run is don't put all your eggs in one basket type of thing for me. It's
another thing too, most home insurance policies are absolute garbage, and they don't reimburse you for lost cash. So unless you have a specific policy, if you can find someone to give you a cash policy, make sure you know what you have, because a lot of times it's $500-600 and that's all they'll reimburse you, which probably doesn't even cover your deductible. So that's why people use banks, right? And then let's be honest, the interest isn't what attracts people to banks. It's the convenience of using a card and having your paycheck direct deposited there, and the peace of mind that you're not going to lose your cash in a fire or theft. That's really what the banks do for us.
Yeah. Not to cut you guys off, but we do have a surprise guest that popped in here, and he's VGX hero. Is it Joey Crypto? What's going on, man?
We'll see. Who knows? I'm going to have to entirely rebrand before too long or not. But
how's it going, man? Dude, your Joey Crypto podcast thing, whatever you have, is hilarious. You got to keep that up. I'm so glad you're on here. We got to interview your guys or something. But where did that all start, real quick? Were you involved with that for the last couple of years or something recent or what? Or tell people what it is actually first, who don't know.
Just a couple episodes so far is all I've been on, really. But the Three Shots podcast, a couple of friends of mine, one I went to school with, one that I've known since we were 5. Aaron's one of the producers, and Joe is the other producer. I'm also Joe. And they just decided, you know what, we want to start recording a podcast just to have conversations on record, ones that we've enjoyed having, and bring on our friends and have an excuse to hang out and drink some beer and drink some shots. And they've slowly evolved over the years. They've been in operation over a year now, and they actually have a studio now. They've built it in their own shop, and they have accumulated more and more recording equipment all the time. And they've actually got 2 guys that work with them regularly. One guy that runs sort of their technical end of things, and another guy that does sound and such. And they've been slowly evolving into a more and more cohesive project. And so I've gotten to be on a few episodes here and there, but since they had the studio, and I was kind of their connection to crypto, I was the guy that convinced them both to start investing.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Are they still friends with you?
Yeah.
They're still friends. Despite their crypto being majority locked up at the moment. Actually, Joe is not a crypto investor. Joe is bizarre to me, a diehard GME fan, and still hold on to his GME. So we'll see where that goes eventually. But Joe is mostly a contrarian. You'll notice it if you ever listen to their episodes. Joe loves to start an argument for no reason. He'll be any conversation just for the sake of it.
Yeah. So do you just go on there and do your own segments, or do you actually go on there all 3 of you and you go back and forth with the different cameras? I think I might have saw one, but I don't know if were you on there, or how is it set up, or are you guys just trying to figure that out?
We're just starting to figure that out, but we will have correspondents in the field before too long. We do have some green screen capabilities. We're we're going to be Aaron and Joe will be correspondents in the field at some point, and it's going to keep evolving a little bit more at a time. But no, so far we haven't integrated Joey Crypto into the podcast. But I always like to introduce it as being in the Three Shots podcast studio. Make sure out and. No, I've only been on a couple episodes so far, but not as Joey Crypto yet. So we'll see if that ends up happening.
Nice. Well, that's awesome, man. I'm excited for you.
Yeah, thank you very much. I was just working on the next episode just now at dinner, so we'll see how it goes.
How long does it take you to write some of those intros and scripts out? Those are hilarious.
Thank you. It's actually not too bad. I can usually sit down and knock out a few paragraphs like over a meal or something. Like Thursdays are kind of my night away from home. I stay overnight out of town, so I get a chance to just sit and write a little bit and have a couple of drinks. But I'll usually end up with about 10 minutes of content after a couple hours, 3 hours of work, something like that. So my dream is to be able to get proficient with writing and be able to keep this as a cohesive regular occurrence that it's able to happen every couple of weeks. So and hopefully the jokes still land and I can keep up with new content and not just recycling too many old themes or jokes.
I can relate because it's so hard being a content creator because you're always trying to like come up with creative stuff that kind of sets you apart from everybody else. And a lot of my stuff is, breaking news type of thing. But with my job now, it's very hard for me to do it. It's like if there's breaking news, you got people that if you're the first to upload, you're going to get the views. I mean, depending on how big you are. But if you're like a big time YouTuber, you do the breaking news as fast. But you're a smaller YouTuber and you upload, it's just no one's going to find your content type of thing. So with the podcast thing, I can't imagine. I mean, I don't really know too much about like the podcast world and how that is, but it definitely seems pretty interesting what you have going on there.
It's been a lot of fun. Yeah, there are definitely some episodes out there that have some pretty incredible stories, and you get a few more views, a few more listens on those. But yeah, I imagine it is quite the chore to keep up with the constant news feed. I mean, I don't know how you guys do it, honestly. I try to focus in on just a couple of top stories that are either important to me or pretty obviously in front of the public's eye pretty regularly, and then just try to eviscerate those with some awful jokes. But I don't go deep into any technicals that often. It's mostly just, hey, here's a couple of crappy porn references talk about this awful story where everybody is suffering.
Well, that's cool. You keep you're like a comedic crypto person. There's not like how many comedy crypto people are there out there that you can think of?
Not enough
that are big, especially nowadays. There's tons of content that you probably could come up with. Oh man, what did I see? I've been uploading just a couple random guys. I think on my other video, this like guy that's like a dad bod and he goes around with like a sword and he just like talks about news and just like paces back and forth.
Dude,
there's him.
Have Joey Crypto interview that guy now.
Yeah, there you go. I don't know. We could use some more crypto comedy people in here. I mean, I don't know. Sometimes there's the too soon people, but sometimes you need that just to kind of like get through it type of thing. There was the Hitler. Did you guys see I think they posted it in the crypto chatter group. There was like the whole FTX rug pull with Hitler. Did you see that? Spot on. Hilarious. Like, yeah, that was pretty funny.
I didn't see the FTX one, but the Celsius one had me like almost crying. It was so funny.
Yeah. I wanted to play the FTX one, but I think the algorithm would pick up as like the words or whatever and not monetize me or whatever. Not that I make anything on these, just a couple pennies, but yeah, check that out, guys. If you guys haven't heard about that, just type in like Hitler FTX skit or whatever, and it's literally spot on. It's funny. I'll just leave it at that.
I just love that everything devolves to Hitler eventually in crypto.
Yeah. Well, the guy has a whole YouTube channel. He does like a lot of the breaking news or like the election stuff or whatever type of relevant thing that's going on that has breaking news. They'll do like the same Hitler skit, but then the subtitles is what makes it funny. So definitely check that one out. And I don't want to keep you guys here too long. I know some of you guys probably have to go or whatever, but I'm trying to keep this to an hour. I don't want to keep beating a dead horse with FTX. We got it. But I did find this video early on about. Did you guys see this about Tom Brady? His advertisement with FTX. This was during the 4th of July. FTX official. They like sponsored them. So it's like they threw all this money at all these people, but look where they're at. That did nothing for them. But did you guys see this one yet?
Yeah, it was actually pretty good.
So I'll play. It's only 18 seconds, but
a lot of people think this is how you mine Bitcoin, but you don't need a flamethrower to buy, sell, or trade Bitcoin and crypto safely. You just need FTX. I'm reloaded. A lot of people think this is how you mine.
So I never saw that one, but yeah, you think Tom Brady knows exactly what he's talking about when he's doing any of this stuff? They were just throwing money. It's the same thing. It goes back to like crypto.com buying the sports arena and what's it, the Matt Damon thing? What's the big quote that they always give him from?
Fortune favors the brave.
Yeah. So I mean, it's just kind of thinking like
recruitment phrase or something.
Yeah. I don't know. I thought that was kind of funny, but it's just like even the biggest quote unquote exchanges, just nobody's safe right now, and no matter how much money and who just because Tom Brady says go download FTX, you're gonna be safe. It's just, I don't know, just something to think about.
Yeah, I'd be concerned if I had any kind of funds and anything that has a major marketing deal or spokesperson or a coin that is locks you into a credit card or something right now. I would be pretty worried about that.
And then it all kind of, he actually apologized to FBF. This is obviously a popular tweet. I'm sorry, that's the biggest thing. I effed up and should have done better. But hey, at least I guess he apologized. And Steve Ehrlich, did he ever apologize? No.
I mean, I do wonder, because I'm imagining all the other people are kept silent because of legal reasons.
Yeah, but like, why is he? Yeah, how is he able to say all this and then he goes through just? I don't know. I just don't. And everything he says, I just don't care or I don't trust. I don't even have any money in FTX right now. But it's just, at least he said that. I mean, I don't know, unless someone's paying him to tweet this. But there is the legality thing going on that he might be getting sued. There was rumors, I think, a couple hours ago saying that he was arrested in the Bahamas or in Dubai. I was reading different tweets, just crazy stuff out there. But I mean, I wouldn't be surprised.
Yeah, they're in trouble. They're not dead yet, but FTX US is no longer taking on users and advising people to take funds off.
Yeah, did you see that announcement?
Mm-hmm.
Whoa.
You got it ready.
Right at the top, FTX.us.
It's called a red notice right there.
I like how they have it on the website, but not the app, because most people probably use their phones and apps. Because I checked my app to see if it was at the top, but it's only on the FTX.us actual desktop web page.
Yeah. So and then because of the connection with FTX US and BlockFi, and then the Voyager deal, obviously, jury's out. There was some talk on it last night on some Twitter Spaces. Jason was on with the Real Vision, Raul Powell, and I definitely threw my 2 cents in there about, hey, check into, have Moelis do a little bit better due diligence here and figure out what our options are, because a little bit worried about this particular buy. Yeah. But I think they put some money in escrow. I think that was going around that 51 million potentially there. I'm not sure if that's earnest money that's unrecoverable or what.
Yeah, and
it would hate to see a deal go through just to have it unravel and have everybody in the same scenario again.
Yeah, and I just want to touch on this real quick. I don't want to keep you guys too long about like what's going to happen to the FTX Voyager, the buyout or whatever. And then you had Voyager UCC tweet this, earlier this day. And okay, we want to make it clear that the FTX Voyager transaction has not been consummated. Voyager has not transferred any crypto or other assets to FTX in connection with the transaction. It's like they were pressing us, vote yes, in the email, everything. It's like, man, it just is, it goes to show, like, they paid all this money for these top lawyers and everything, but then look what happened to FTX. It's just, you can't trust anyone anymore. It's just, what's going to happen next? There's either going to be they're going to open it back up to rebids, but who's going to buy it out after everything that's going on now? Or it just is going to go to a Chapter 7 liquidation, and we're just going to get cash. Like, those are the only two things that I'm thinking of. Or this is just going to drag on for years and years, like Mount Gox or something like that. But I just wanted to hear maybe Obi or whoever else wants to chime in real quick what other options or like what could possibly happen with our funds if you guys do have funds locked up like I do. I have a good chunk locked up.
Well, I just kind of, in this particular case, I look at who's sending people to court, who's still interested on social media. There's been some, the Mr. Meme Master himself's in the chat there. He's sent a lot of great things out, and I've seen some of the leadership of Crosstower respond to it. They sent a lawyer to court. I do think there's interest there. There were several other interested parties involved in that 2-week auction they could go back to and see if they're still interested. Now, the current market conditions and what's going on probably aren't going to be favorable in that regard. But I think that if FTX US does in fact get commingled into this FTX international issue, it would be best for the bankers and the people involved to do what's right by the creditors. And ultimately, if they don't, the judge, I believe, will. So, and the judge, was looking out for everybody and did make sure there's a fiduciary out. And yeah, to me, the vote feels a little bit like a beauty pageant. They can kind of cram it down anyway if they want the deal to go through, and the judge ultimately can sign off on it. So I'm not putting a whole lot of stock in the whole voting thing. And if an offer does come through that's even remotely as good, I think we should hear about it, and it's their responsibility to tell us about it.
Yeah, we've got to hear something at least within. What's the cutoff date for like the vote? The 27th or
28th?
Sometime during the end of the month. But I think we're going to hear something with at least the next 10 days with the whole FTX things, FTX.US. So what would they do? Would they just, hey, we're going to back out of this? Like, who is it up to? Is it up to the judge? Or would it be up to like the UCC or like a combination of everyone or the lawyers?
So there's the vote. And then there's FTX US, I guess, could pull out and lose whatever they've put in. The judge could also say, no, I'm not going to, with what's going on with the umbrella of companies, until that is known, I'm not going to release, the creditors or funds of this estate anywhere.
But how do they even have the funds now after everything that's been going on to go through with the actual deal? Aren't they going to look at that, which is what I'm thinking, and they'll be like, nope, it isn't viable? Or is FTX, like you said, just going to pull out?
Well, FTX US and FTX International, FTX.com, Alameda, they're all technically separate companies. So how they share revenue or trades or have liabilities? Remember when I said everybody's asset, someone else's liability? Mm-hmm. So, what's the relationship between Alameda Research, the quant trading desk, which has shuttered its doors? Their website's not even, I don't think, up anymore.
No.
And then you have FTX.com, which is the international business, right? There's very clearly some form of a lending of assets relationship there, which is why Binance balked. Yep. So now you've got FTX US, which is not accepting new customers and telling people that if they're worried, take their funds off. We have you covered. But if you're worried, take it off. Does that mean that they're going to have the financial backing to follow through with the deal? I would suspect not. I think that, the BlockFi signal there is an alarm bell for me. So I would suspect that they're going to maybe even try to claw back the 51 million because they probably have investors that they need to probably distribute that to, since that deal hasn't been consummated. So that would be a concern of mine. Or if that, that's why I said, is that 51 million? Has that been transferred? Is that an escrow? Is it recoverable? I don't know. Will the 75 million loan they gave Voyager and the term sheet that they were going to release as part of this deal, is that now something that they would go after, which would mean less recoverables? There's so many layers to this that we just ultimately don't know. We're hoping for a better bid, another offer that the judge would deem better than the offer on the table. And if that's the case, the judge would then put that out to creditors to vote on or sign off on that. And that's how we would move forward. But time's running out. If somebody wants to make a bid, like you said, we're at November 10th. We got 2 weeks roughly. And until someone shows up in court and says, hey, judge, here's an offer we think is better, we're just in a holding pattern.
Yeah, and that'd be my follow-up is like, who who would even be the next person that would even want to buy us or buy Voyager? Binance doesn't want to touch us, I think, for regulatory reasons potentially, or is it what Cross Tower? But I don't think they have the liquidity to do it.
Yeah, I don't know. I think
big
Binance might actually still be interested in FTX US, Binance US, FTX US, perhaps. I don't think. I think if they start selling off the SBF empire, the FTX US is clearly the better of the three. But there's FTX Ventures. There's tons of people like Tom Brady and Gisele Bündchen and Kevin O'Leary and Steph Curry. Like, think of all the money that's gone into FTX. Like, even with Voyager, you had the Gronkowski, and you had Marshall Falk, and you had Tracy McGrady, and you had other people in there, Barkley, you had the NASCAR, Landon, all that stuff. So, I mean, those they want money, obviously, as investors or people tied in with the business, right? They're going to want to obviously get in line for getting whatever money comes out of the state back as well. And we're not there yet, right? They're not technically filed for bankruptcy. They're just putting a pause on things because they have a hole and they're trying to figure out if they can get funding to fill that. Doesn't mean they're completely out, but trust is 100% shattered in SBF and in the brand. So if it does go on and continue, whoever takes over or funds that thing is going to have to be someone that can establish trust, or it's done for.
Well, remind me too, which entity was it that extended the line of credit to Voyager? Was that Alameda itself? Or?
Yes, Alameda did the $75 million loan.
Okay, gotcha. I mean, there's obviously silly amounts of money there, but yeah, like you said, it'll be like it's a trust issue at this point.
Yeah,
no one's gonna.
Well, and as you saw, when we put money in Voyager and we bought what we thought was our crypto that's on that platform, really it was Three Arrows and Wintermute and Alameda and Galaxy and a few others that were borrowing those funds, trading those funds, losing money, going insolvent. And now it's like, all right, where's the crypto? Where's the money? Right?
Yeah.
The people that don't have it are in bankruptcy, and the people that lost it are headed towards bankruptcy.
Yeah. All right. I don't want to keep talking about Voyager. I did reach my 1 hour mark. I know if you guys have to go, feel free to, but any last closing thoughts about the Voyager FTX thing? But I think Obi, you pretty much nailed it. We just got to wait and see, basically. So maybe about 10 minutes or so. I don't want to keep you guys any longer. I do want to talk about Elrond, which I know Vanessa and Obi and AJAX. I don't know. Are you into Elrond at all?
I've got some Elrond. I've got some Elrond actually on Voyager Digital's platform.
So you both have it and don't have it.
Yeah. Very unfortunate. Me too. But I have been uploading, and I know Vanessa as well. Aren't you an advisor to Kavarii?
Yeah, that's right.
But I'm super interested. I think this is going to be the future of what we want to be YouTube, per se. It's kind of like it's a decentralized NFT video streaming platform where you upload your content, you mint it. So you mint your videos, and it goes to whatever wallet. I think there's I don't know if there's the Meyer wallet is what I do it to, but whatever other wallets I think that Elrond comes out with, or MultiVerseX, which is what they're rebranding as, right? Isn't that how they say it? MultiVerseX.
MultiVerseX, yeah. X is kind of like the thing that's being the branding thing, right? X Portal, X this. It's kind of like iOS, iPod, AirPods, all that kind of stuff. Think of it like that kind of is how I think about the branding. But multiverse, kind of like in Marvel, is how you pronounce it.
Yeah, and and since I've been working so much, I've covered like day or 2 or 3. I put out a video with a little bit, but it seems there's a lot of like rebranding and different types of stuff within their platforms and everything that they're kind of rebranding and making it better. But Kavarii, talking about this first, we could talk about MultiVerseX. The what was the Paris conference called? The X Day or whatever, right? Wasn't it called X Day?
X Day.
But, yeah, we could talk about that maybe for a couple minutes. But yeah, Kavarii. I've been uploading it on here. Let me see if I can go here. You can see Vanessa has all of her videos all up on the front page right now. I don't think I have mine up yet. I'm not cool enough yet. Algorithm doesn't like me. But Crypto Airborne, I'm the same on everything. I've uploaded some videos, and they've
The
done
way
pretty decent.
front is just to keep uploading videos, like totally spam it with everything.
Yeah, basically, like I've been uploading some popular videos or ones that I think are good. Like I did one of my most popular videos on YouTube, the Gold Shell CKB mining, basically a whole step-by-step on setting up the Gold Shell CKB miners, everything you need. So I uploaded that one, did pretty decent. Best Bitcoin debit card, talking about the fold card and the Meyer wallet. So that did pretty good. That was the best one, 163. Obviously, I think they're going to try to put the algorithm towards Elrond content, although there is everything on here. There's breaking news, music, drone stuff, NFTs, gaming, development, future stuff, everything you can think of. But I've noticed at least a couple uploads that I've done, anything that has to do with Elrond or, Bitcoin seems to be doing pretty well because I've had kind of a little diversified upload go on here. So I did another crypto mining, was uploading, or I uploaded this mini Doge miner do-it-yourself, did pretty decent. But again, a news one that I did with everything that was going on, 52 views. But I think definitely with the Elrond and Meyer, Bitcoin, those videos seem to be doing the best. And it's kind of, I have mixed feelings right now, like with the platform. Me, it's kind of slow type of thing. I don't know if Vanessa, have you noticed like it's kind of like little laggy here and there? And I had issues when I first uploaded, and because I'm used to YouTube. Whenever you upload a video on YouTube, you can still click around the different like side panels over here, and your video will continue to upload. Me, when I first uploaded my first video, I would click it, and it was literally it took forever. And I don't know if that was my upload speed, but all these videos took kind of a little bit to upload, a little bit of time to upload. And I've just noticed you can't go to another page here. Like if I upload a video right now, I can't click on my staking or my account. It automatically the video goes away. So I have to literally just stay on that page until it uploads type of thing.
Yeah, my sense is that the team has spent kind of a lot more focus and time on the viewer experience. So if you click around as a viewer, it's pretty smooth. Videos load fast. They've kind of integrated. I think they just launched comments. And that's all integrated with the wallets. I think that's smooth. But as a creator, yeah, there's definitely a few moments where uploading can be a bit challenging. You can open another tab, but it's not quite as easy as YouTube, as you pointed out. I'm hoping they'll get there. I mean, it's still early. It's still like early in the beta. Definitely. I think the beta's been out now for 2 weeks, if I recall.
And what's cool though is like, it's not like YouTube where if you want to get monetized, you have to have 4,000 hours of watch time and 1,000 subscribers. And depending on your content, your CPM, that's how they pay you out. You earn what's called KVRI. So that's the native kind of like token that runs the Kavarii platform. So if you subscribe to me, I think it costs 7 Kavarii, but then you get that back. Or if you want to like something, you get Kavarii tokens. You have to pay for it. You tip. I've had 1,100 tips. I don't exactly know how that works. If someone actually tipped me that. But...
So it's important to note that this is all in beta. And so you're getting incentivized to beta test right now. So they're giving the KVRI token out for people that are uploading, sharing, liking, subscribing. They're trying to pressure test it so that as they upgrade and scale, they can see what activities they need to redirect the focus on. Theta TV, when it launched, a year or two ago, it was kind of like the same thing. It could beta feeling for a while, and it's gotten better over time. Anyone remember those early days of YouTube and all the buffering and performance issues? And they had the backing of Alphabet buying them with all of their focus on fiber and storage racks and edge computing. And that's why YouTube is so dominant in the video sharing space, is they have that. It's okay, we'll take a loss to put this out there. So you're not going to get a YouTube-like experience because no competitor has the wallet of Alphabet behind them to be able to compete. So they're going down hey, let's take the spamming out of things. Let's give content creators immediate incentive to put content up and participate with their viewers as good actors. Get the scammers and the spam bots and everything out. Give everyone a good experience, that place they can come to, where viewers and content creators can get paid immediately for using the service, as opposed to just being subjected to ads and having a subpar experience, but maybe with a shinier looking video. That's where I'm at on it.
Definitely. And the other question is, and So the KVRI that we're getting and all the videos that I'm uploading and whoever else uploads, since we're in beta, when they actually launch it, do we have to start from scratch and re-upload our beta videos? And do we not get our KVRI, or do we get to keep our KVRI once the actual platform launches?
You get to keep it.
Oh, go ahead, Obi.
No, I mean, I was going to say you get to keep it. And if you have a Kavarii NFT, you can stake the NFT to Kavarii's website, kavarii.com/stake, and they will give you KVRI tokens for that as well. Because you're basically helping seed fund them, right? If you think about it, you're buying a Kavarii with eGold that's going to the publishers, which is the Kavarii. They've partnered with Aerovec or have connections with Aerovec in terms of validators. So they're trying to kind of, bare metal crowdsource, both the serving side of things, the block creation, the token creation, and they're doing that fundraising through NFTs, and they're returning some of that value back in the token that you'd use on the platform, which eventually will have value assigned to it that you can then recoup, the profits for your time and for your initial investment on.
Yeah.
What I missed,
awesome.
Vanessa?
Oh no, that was all perfect. I think the one other thing worth mentioning is that it's actually on mainnet. So anything that you mint, any videos that you create, like they're there, they're yours. They're not going to disappear. There was a period just before we got to mainnet when a few folks were actually playing around on testnet, and then everything disappeared there.
Yeah, that's I think what I got invited to, but I didn't get a chance because I started my job and I just got too busy. Because I think that's why I wanted to ask that question. Was it the early beta where you had to redo everything, or was it the beta too? So yeah, that definitely clears it up. So everything that we upload and mint now will go like to the main, the final version or whatever they launch.
It was a pretty cool experience when I minted the first few, and I wasn't expecting it, but it showed up in my Maya wallet as like it looked like an NFT. I'm like, that is amazingly cool. Like I felt the sense of ownership over the video, even though it's like out there on YouTube and everywhere else. I'm like, yeah.
And I've noticed when you go to your Maya wallet and the videos that I've minted, I can send that to someone. So could you potentially sell the rights of your video to someone else?
That would be cool.
Yes, you can.
Right?
Yes.
So I was like,
well, not only that, right? But because NFTs are first-class citizens on the MultiVerseX network, right? Because they're native tokens. They're not smart contracts like on most other blockchains. So if you want to build, there's, when you upload and you mint that token, that NFT token, I'm sure there's some kind of royalties involved.
Oh yeah, you're right.
Right.
Because
so
say I'm real popular. I have this awesome video built on Kavarii and it's in my Maya wallet, and I want to sell it. I want to sell the rights, but then you can have 10% royalties or whatever.
Think of those viral videos like Rebecca Grant's Friday, right? And that goes on NFT, and somebody says, "I'll give you $2 million for the NFT."
Yeah, and it's making money, so it's sort of like you're buying a property and renting it out.
Genius.
Can't sell out. You can't sell out. Popular Rebecca Grant.
Well, this is the first viral thing that came to my head, so because it's almost Friday.
You're right. That's funny, but yeah, that's just another cool concept. So yeah, I mean, I'm going to continue to upload on here, and I am on their Discord, and I've been giving feedback. There's different channels. It's not really active, to be honest with you. I'm like the only one the last couple of days. I've been trying to go live, and I really want to work with them right now to try to go live at some point. I've tried the scheduling live stream, and I get to the very end of it. I put all my information. I put in minimal information, which is the one guy suggested, and it just keeps getting a failed transaction, or it just keeps spinning. And then right before the stream with Vanessa, I tried to do like going live just right then and there, and it said I was live, but I had her check on the website, and it just said I like wasn't live. So I think there's definitely some feedback I'm going to give them. And I don't know if anyone's ever gone live on the platform, and I've asked, but I don't think I got a response yet. So definitely, I think there's a lot of potential for this. Just got to keep uploading. I think just some bigger marketing, try to get some other YouTubers or whoever. And I think this is definitely something that could potentially blow up in the future. One
of the things I think was kind of a coup, there's this guy that makes a bunch of chess videos. Agamator, or I don't know exactly how to pronounce his name. Upload it. Yeah, this is the guy.
Okay. Chess and chat?
No, the guy with all the you see the chessboards. The red background. yeah, so he's got a really popular YouTube channel as well. So I don't know how they connected with him, but I'm addicted to his videos. I think Michael Saylor is as well.
Oh, wow. Do you know any like big people that are on Kavarii? Like, is there any other influencers or celebrities yet? Or is it just
I think he's
small?
probably the biggest that we've got.
Michael Saylor's on here?
No, the chess guy.
Oh, I thought you said I was like, what? Why would Michael Saylor be on? Well, I don't know.
In Michael Saylor's interview with Lex Friedman, he was talking about this guy and how he spent lots of time watching his channel.
Gotcha.
I hope you guys learn.
This type of thing is just going to get more popular. How many times during the bull run did we see people having their channels just completely shut off from YouTube?
Yeah.
There's like one thing the algorithm caught that like irked the algorithm gods, right?
It's a censorship resistant type of thing.
Are you checking out AJAX?
I'm checking. I got to work at like 3:30 this morning, and it's 8 o'clock my time, so I'm done. I'm very done. Airborne, thank you so much.
We gotta go. Yeah, we gotta set something up for Joey Crypto or your guys' team. I'd be happy to bring you guys on and just, I don't know, or have me on your guys' podcast to talk about crypto. I'd be happy to do that.
I would love to have a 3 shots crypto airborne mashup. It'd be wonderful.
Awesome.
I will orchestrate that. Vanessa and Obi, thank you for consistently making me feel out of my depth. You guys are incredibly smart people. I hope you guys will have a lovely evening.
You too.
All right.
Thanks,
Take care,
bye.
bro.
Cheers.
All right. So I think I'm going to wrap it up here too. I'm an hour and 16 minutes. I don't know if you guys have any other last things you want to talk about Elrond or Kavarii or just the market in general.
Yeah, I mean, something I'd like to say is, just the last, ever since May 12th when Luna went down, it's really taken some emotional fortitude to still be here, to still be, surfing through everything that happens. And it feels like the hits just keep coming. And all the OGs back in the day, as they were talking about all the really brutal crypto winters that happened, I just find that I'm needing to step back from the initial emotion somewhat. Maybe some other people are as well, to just realize like the market is just cycles. And this has happened a bunch of times before. We've had Bitcoin nuke 80%. It does that. Don't give up. Maybe step back if you need to. But for me, it's just being aware when those emotions take over and trying to step away from it.
Definitely. I agree. What about you, Obi?
No, it's absolutely true. It's not just crypto. It's just one of the worst investing years ever. Whether it be bonds, stocks, crypto, gold's not doing great. Like nothing's doing well. Real estate hasn't fallen off a cliff, but it's not like it's growing. These types of years happen, but the good times outweigh the bad. So, and like Vanessa said, it's cyclical, and you just the people that can, hit the buy button when it makes them want to puke, and the fear and greed index is at a 10, and that you're going to lose money once you hit the buy button because it's going to keep going down, but you just stick with your plan, and eventually everything comes around again, and well, not everything, but you have to pick good investments. But the macro market swings are cyclical. And when that happens, you're going to feel really smart and rewarded for going through this particular, battlefield that we're on. So, but it's not easy. There's, you're taking fire, you're digging in, and, it's the unfun part. Right. So, but anyways, what makes it fun is building and continuing to learn and making friends that can help give you support and get you through, and can have thirsty Thursdays and 3 shots broadcast
even during the bear market.
That's crypto. And then, you know what? We're like, we don't like the corporations taking our videos down or raining on our parade or booting our Twitter profile. So you know what? Now we'll just build something better. Right. And that's how the world gets better products. It's competition. Yeah. And I'm excited about it. So if you're feeling down out there, just, it's temporary. It shall pass.
Definitely. Yeah, I agree with all that. Maybe I'll mint this onto Kavarii afterwards here, depending on how long it's going to take. Because, man, it all depends on like the file size too, because the 20-minute video that I uploaded, it was like 2 gigabytes. It literally took like 2 hours. And I don't know if it was my internet or if it's something with just how the back end of it, minting it on the Elrond blockchain is. But it definitely took a while. But yeah, I definitely appreciate you guys coming on here. I'm going to go and get some timestamps and then I'll tag you guys. But for you guys watching or whatnot, where can they find you guys at? Obviously, Technology Poet on Twitter, right? Anywhere else?
Yeah, Technology Poet on Twitter is me. And also, if you're looking for YouTube videos on crypto, if you go to just youtube.com/justcrypto, that's also a channel I do a bunch of interviews and some market commentary sometimes on what's happening in the world.
For sure. And then Obi, I know you're Ryan's Great, I think, on Twitter.
Yeah, it's my old gamer tag from when I was a teenager. RYANSGR8.
Awesome. Anywhere else, or is that about it?
I'm not I guest appear. I'm a color commentator. I'm not the play-by-play person, so I don't mind hopping on and doing the rounds. But I don't have the time or the technical skill probably in terms of video creation as some of y'all. So I just like to hang out and talk, and I'll leave the creation and uploading pains to you.
All right, guys, that's going to do it. I appreciate you guys taking the time out of your days, nights to just hang out here and just talk about crypto. I think it's a good thing, just kind of talk about everything, because we're all in different parts of the world. Sometimes, and me personally, where I'm from, my job, there's nobody that's into crypto. There's nobody. So I turn to the community that I'm in, our Signal group I like a lot, Twitter, just to bounce ideas, and how, like, even personally, like my wife, she has no involvement with it. I mean, she knows everything that's happened, and yeah, it's crazy. But I think we just need some of these outlets just to vent and talk things and just have a good time and get through these hard times, because there's the hard times, you have your good times, but like you said, Obi, I think it's all about community building and networking through these hard times and just to keep moving forward type of thing. Yeah. So that's going to do it, guys. Appreciate it. Crypto Airborne out. Have a good one, guys.